All right, welcome to the Grow Podcast. First time ever, we have Zak Jones, one of the most legendary Shark Tank companies you will have ever seen. If you've seen Shark Tank, we've all seen it 100 times. You haven't seen one as good as his episode. We're so pumped to have him on here. I've got my man Jason Fox here, brother-in-laws, and also clients, and we work together. We love it, and we're so pumped to have you on, man.
Thanks for having me too. That was it was a surreal experience. I mean, really, this is honestly my first time sitting down in front of the camera since the show talking about it. So I'm kind of excited to get into it too.
Yeah. Okay. So, CEO, founder of PermaPlug.
Yep.
But also ShipSquared.
Yep.
So we're going to dive into all of this. But the background, where he came from and how he got there is one of the coolest stories. You guys are going to love this. Jason Fox here, just an absolute legend. Guy played in the NFL for 7 years. 7?
6.
6.
7 sounds better.
7 sounds better. We're going to go 7.
Yeah.
And offensive lineman, started at end guard and tackle, sat at the end of the bench, guarded the water, and tackled anybody that tried to get to it.
Not far off.
That's obviously a joke because he started and was one of the best left tackles in the game.
That's far off.
I don't know. Thank you, dude. Take the compliments.
I don't know. We ran into DeMarcus Ware the other day, and he was talking about how he did not like going up against you just as much as you didn't like going up against him.
Yeah, I think he was being nice. I said, I didn't miss trying to block him, and he said the same, but I think he was just felt obligated to say that. But
honestly, as a guy just sitting there listening to the conversation, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So Jason works at Grow now. He's ripping it with commercial real estate on the Grow team, and off to the races, maybe. So,
Yeah.
Okay, Zak.
Let's do it.
Walk us through, what did you do before? Let's just go before PermaPlug.
Yeah.
What happened then? What was your trajectory there?
Well, first off, I'm a normal dude. I'm not any more special than anybody else. I've always had the entrepreneur bug, you can say. I think the word entrepreneur is overused kind of now and a little bit corny, honestly. So I try not to call myself an entrepreneur, but I've always just kind of started businesses. Whenever I was 14 years old, I got my first motorcycle, got it from Craigslist for $750, completely took it apart. This was before YouTube was popping, so this was all just figuring it out, reassembled it, spray painted it, got it looking good, traded that up for a Ducati. So I was already wow, I just traded a $750 motorcycle for a $5,000 or $6,000 motorcycle. It's okay, let me figure out how to make money here. Then, just through high school, same thing. Started t-shirt business like every other, starting entrepreneur, just other stuff like that. And then I got my first full-time job at Discount Tire at 15 or 16. And that's when I was okay, I really need to get good at being an entrepreneur because I do not want to do this shit all day long. It's hard work. But then it kind of just, went on. I was a kid, had fun, went to college for 2 years, ended up working at a sales job, just got lucky, ended up working as a BDR for a software sales company that specialized in SEO. And that's really, I mentioned that on the show, that I had an SEO background. Well, that's where I started. I was 19 years old, started doing sales for them. Ended up crushing it. Then I realized, okay, sales is pretty close to being an entrepreneur. You can, more or less set your own schedule if you're a top performer and you have unlimited, uncapped earnings. And at this company specifically, I could earn recurring commissions. So I was holy crap, once you get into sales, you'll know. You make the Excel sheet, okay, if I sell this many this month, I'll make this much every single month over month. Everything's compounding. So started from there, but I always knew that sales was just going to fund whatever I was going to try to start. So I started at that company in 2016. That was the same year I tried to start my first hardware startup, which was called Pills. It was this was before Bluetooth was really good on your phones. So I tried to invent, me and my buddy tried to invent they're a pair of pills. One end plugged into your phone and one end plugged into your Beats. This is when Beats were still wired, and they'd be fully wireless without having to use the Bluetooth on your phone or the Bluetooth straight to the headphones. Filed the patent for it, lost all my money. So all the sales that I sold at the company, all the stuff I invested into it, lost it. I launched a crowdfunding campaign for that too, completely flopped. So massive failure. Everybody saw me fail, but I learned. And at the time, I was honestly embarrassed about it because I put myself out there for the first time, like I did with PermaPlug a few years later. But put myself out there for the first time, put myself behind the brand, and it just flopped. And obviously, I didn't realize until a couple of years later that that was just a learning moment for me. So kept doing sales, stayed in sales, that same job for like 4 or 5 years, just kept working my way up. I actually eventually became a managing partner at that agency, moved up from BDR to account executive to channel partnerships. So I worked with other agencies to sell our software to them. And then after that, I moved over into a finance sales manager role at another company and started making a lot more money. So then I honestly put the entrepreneur stuff on the back burner because I was making, 250 to 350 grand a year from sales. And I was like, okay, wait, maybe this is it for me. And then it came back. To 2019, my buddy and I were, I don't know if I should go all the way into this. So actually we'll circle back to
let's
the
pause for a
PermaPlug.
second, because one thing you said, like, hey, I'm just a normal guy, and I'm not special or anything. Everything you just said is not normal, right? Like the fact that you were able to learn, have so many different roles, be in sales, have things that worked, have things that didn't work, and that persistence, that grit, that kind of willingness to keep going, like that is it's special, and you learned a lot, and then you're applying that now to your different businesses, and I think that's why you're seeing the growth and trajectory you have, and I just think that should be recognized, and kudos to you, because that's a lot of people don't have that in them.
Yeah, 100%. And I honestly do, just like you said. Well, thank you for saying that. I do kind of brush that under the rug sometimes because people ask me like, what does it take? I'm like, you just kind of do it. But I've just always been that way. Where like I'm not going to give up. I'll learn. So I tell people this all the time. Like when they ask me for advice, if they're first starting out, or like young high school guys, what should I do? I say learn skills and learn sales and take it seriously. Like I wasn't who cares? These days, kids try to make it seem like being a tryhard is like lame. I was a tryhard. I went as hard as I possibly could. I showed up early. I left early. If you're walking through the office, walk with a purpose. Walk quick. You got somewhere to go. So I just grinded. That's just what I did. And I wanted to be the best at whatever I did. And that never went away. So I don't know if that was something I was born with. I don't really think so. I just think I always it kind of just progressively got like stronger and stronger as I got older. I just wanted to be something. I tweeted in like 2013 that by 2025 or something, 2024 maybe, I wanted to own a tiger. I don't own a tiger. I have 3 daughters now instead, so my goals changed. But you can tell back then I had some crazy aspirations for myself.
2025 isn't over yet, so tiger is
it's still on the table. I just probably couldn't have it in my house.
Dude, daughters is just enough as having a tiger.
Yeah, 100%.
I got 3 daughters too, and man, they keep me on my toes. It's insane.
Yep.
It's
we're about to be slammed right at Q4 too. So Q4, our next one's going to be here any day now. So just sacrifice a little bit more sleep. But
there it is.
Yeah, man. So I do think like what you said, Jason, about how all my skills like really aligned to become like a founder, CEO. I started in sales. I learned SEO at that company. I think it's a God thing completely. And then I got to move over into the finance, where I learned finance, accounting, bookkeeping, all that stuff a lot better when I was in there, and just numbers in general. And I also got to learn leadership. So like all this stuff really compiled into everything you need to know as a founder. I learned sales, I learned SEO, I learned finance. All that stuff came together in leadership. I have to lead a team now. I would have never known that if I hadn't been the try hard in sales and like push myself to get there. So
you also learn through all those experiences. You learn the things that don't work too. You learn the things that you see other guys doing, and you're like, I don't want to be like that. I'm not going to lead that way. I'm going to lead this way, right?
Yep.
So you take the good things and you leave the bad things, and you learn those lessons. So now you get to a point in your life where you said, you know what? I got this idea. I'm gonna build something here, and you've got all the skills that you've built a nice foundation on to get out there and go figure out how to make it happen. It's awesome.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely. And I think a big thing about that too, what I learned over the years is like, you can't wait for somebody to tell you that your idea is working. That's the hardest thing about being a founder, being an entrepreneur, is like, at your job, your manager would be like, yeah, you're doing great. Keep going. When you're doing this other stuff on the side, you got no one. If anything, everyone's like, dude, don't waste your money on that. Like, that's not a good idea. Or if they say it's a good idea, they don't really know. It's just, you don't get that affirmation. So like the big thing that people struggle with, myself included, is seeing something through. Like the idea, in my opinion, that's the easiest part. Like anyone's got an idea, but somebody that can push through and like see it through to the very end, actually bring it to fruition, that's the hardest part. Like there's so many times when you're building something, and Jason, I know you've done this because you've been a founder of stuff too. It's like you get to a point where there's no resources to turn to. It's like, okay, how do I figure this out? You can't Google it, can't ask anybody. what do? You either stop there or you look at it like it's not a block, it's just a speed bump, and you just got to keep pushing and get over it.
That's it.
Well, that's what I was kind of saying earlier is like when you are a founder and if you're a solo founder, you said you had all these different skill sets, these different backgrounds where you learned SEO, where you learned sales, where you learned that is you. You don't have a team yet, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you're at the beginning, so you have to do everything.
Yep.
And the fact that you've had a lot of learning experiences, you've developed a lot of skills, that had to take you further. And even like, the businesses that work and don't work, like Summit said, you learn what doesn't work and you learn how to do it better the next time.
Yep.
So let's dive in there. Let's talk about the early days of PermaPlug, the ideation stage. Like how did you come up with it? What did the beginning days look like? And
so it looks like an overnight success, of course. It looks like, I launched it on Kickstarter in 2023 and then Shark Tank in 2024. Oh, boom, easy. It all happened. But it really didn't. It took like 5 years before I even got to there. Mm-hmm. So, actually it goes even further back to, like I said before, the failed patent before that. I wouldn't have been able to do PermaPlug if I wouldn't have failed the first company called PermaPlug in 2016. But in 2019, I was young, 22 or 21 or something like that, going out all the time, staying at friends' houses and having people over all the time. And the original idea was around people stealing our chargers at after parties and staying over at our house.
Yeah.
The charger that would stay in the living room, supposed to stay in the living room for whoever crashed on the couch, was always gone. It was either one of the roommates took it to their room, just borrowed it, never put it back. Well, one of my friends had super glued one to the outlet in the living room and it never left. It was perfect. It was like, even if you laid on the couch and you slept all night and tugged on it, it was still right there.
Yeah. Don't do that, by the way.
Yeah, definitely don't do that. That's way unsafe. But that's how it started, that idea. And I actually talked about it like with that friend. I was like, I've done patents before. I can help get this going. And we did it. He ended up not wanting to be a part of it long term, but because he didn't want to see it through. But that's how the idea came. So that was in 2019. And I learned from the first time, maybe I should wait to see if this patent gets approved before I invest a ton of money into it. So honestly, I filed the patent for it in 2019, didn't hear back. It takes a long time. And then I just get an email in 2021. This is when I was like really dialed in on the mortgage stuff, so I wasn't focused on it. Got the email that the patent was published. I was like, all right, time to bring it back. Also, this was right after COVID, mid-2021. Supply chain issues were a lot slower in China, so doing like prototyping and manufacturing was a lot slower. And again, just in my mind, it just wasn't like really like top of mind.
Well, hold on. What was the very first step? Like the first step. You have the idea.
Yeah.
But like a lot of people have ideas and they don't know what the first step is. What was your very first step to get the momentum going?
Yeah. Thanks for making me slow down because I'll just like jump way too fast.
No, I love it. You're passionate. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. So I got some cool stories about that actually. So we just started drawing it on paper. Literally just like not actually a napkin, but like, just sketching out the thing on paper, and it had 20 different iterations before I ever talked to a 3D modeler. But basically what you would want to do if you're trying to do the same thing, draw out your idea, and you want to find somebody that can take that drawing and turn it into a CAD file, 3D file, STP file, whatever you want to call it. I actually became friends with the real life David Packhouse, who was portrayed as Miles Teller in War Dogs, and he's also an inventor. And I had DM'd him on Instagram. I was like, dude, I got this idea. Do you know anybody that can help me bring my drawing to a rendering? Because I hadn't had that in a few years. And he hooked me up with this guy, and he brought my first iteration to life with a rendering, and then I took that, and you want to get it 3D printed. So like that's how you get your first prototype in hand. Not working, didn't have any like electronics in there, but that's I'd say your first step to like see what it looks like.
But having the balls to just reach out to a guy like that.
Yeah,
how many people that's a step that a lot of people get afraid of.
Yeah.
What if they say no? What if they don't reply? What if they think I'm weird, or they're not going to talk to me, and they don't even take that step? But the fact that you just said, look, worst thing that can happen is he doesn't say anything, and I go find the next guy.
Yep.
You go reach out to that guy. He gives you the help, and then get going. The ball gets going.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I'm pretty good about that now. Like I used to be scared to ask questions. Like I don't care. Like I will, if I don't know something, I'll be like, what does that mean? I don't care where I'm at, who it is. If they think they're smarter than me, I don't care. I found that making people think that I'm smarter than them in a room never serves me. I don't care. If you think you're smarter than me, that's cool. Doesn't matter. So I'll ask for help. But I will say, don't be the person that sits there and thinks you need to wait for help to take action. Yeah. So if he hadn't responded, I promise you I would have found someone else and got it done. I don't like hearing that from people like, well, I'm just waiting on this guy to get back to me before I can do anything. It's like, no, you got to just keep going. Don't sit there and wait for it.
Yeah. So how many prototypes from, the very first 3D printer to like what it is today? Like how many iterations did you go through?
Too many. Honestly, now in hindsight, if I did this again, it would be way less. Or my idea of it kept changing before. I think now what I would do and what you should do is just launch something, and then you can make iterations to it after that, as long as it's working and functional and people would buy it. But probably like 50 or 60 different iterations. Yeah. Seriously, it was dumb.
50 or 60?
Yeah, it's just because like we would try to I was trying to, go 4 chords that come out of the top, or do it at the top and the bottom. Just trying to make it too complicated at first.
Yeah.
And that's actually exactly what happened with my first one that I failed. Is I tried to make it too complicated to where eventually it just didn't work. So the 3D designer actually luckily gave me that idea. He's like, you just need to get something made.
Right.
So yeah, way too many iterations, but finally basically went back to the original version that we had, got a prototype that looked almost pretty real, and I made a TikTok with it. This is when TikTok kind of first started popping off. And it got like 4.7 million views. I didn't have a product yet. So I literally put on there like join the wait list.
Yeah.
After it went viral.
Pre-sales.
Yeah, literally. I was like, okay.
Join the wait list.
Put join the wait list after the fact, and then I made a website real quick and started collecting emails, and then scrambled to move to the next step from there.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
But like what's really cool, and we said this earlier in the podcast, but there's so many parts of this where I feel like a lot of people would drop off.
Oh yeah.
And like to bring something to life, it takes a really special founder. But okay, so now you have the prototype, or you have the viral TikTok moment, you have the website.
Yep.
How does it come to life from now?
It's so funny. Like you look back at the stuff you did before, and you're like, oh my god, that was terrible. Like so cringe. My first website was awful. All of it was terrible. But
most founders go through that situation.
yeah, you just figure it out as you go. I mean, like you just don't stop. You learn by doing. That's the only thing. Right. You don't spend too much time trying to figure it out or research it. You just learn by doing. So you just go and figure it out. So I launched the product on. Actually, I didn't even launch it. I just started posting it. I really wanted to gauge the interest still, because just like we talked about, I kind of wanted to stop. I'm like, okay, I'm 2 years into this thing now. All this money on all these prototypes. I don't even know if this thing's going to sell. And I was still working my job, and I was making good money, and honestly, I was happy. It was fine. But I still wanted to do something that was my own. So once I saw that video that started getting views, I quickly started watching YouTube videos. I watched a video from this guy named Lance at Gravel. Once again, watched his video. He made a really great video on how to launch a Kickstarter campaign. They have a really big like travel gear company now. Took the leap of faith, messaged him on LinkedIn, asked him for his advice, ghosted. And then all good, kept going, learned it, watched all his videos, watched more, launched on Kickstarter, did decent, like 10,000 in pre-sales with no ad spend, which I thought we could maybe do more, but anyways.
10,000 units?
No, $10,000.
Okay,
So really not much at all. But it was enough for me to buy the molds. The molds were like 10 grand basically. Mm-hmm. So that paid for the molds, the injection molds. And then just kind of bootstrapped and bought another 1,000 units. And then I was stuck. Right there I was stuck. Had my website made. It wasn't great. Had it on Shopify. Thought I knew what I was kind of doing. I was like, okay, if I got a video to go viral once, I can do it again. But I couldn't. I was like posting, nothing was happening. I was like, okay, this isn't working. So I was like, okay, well, what I need to do now, I'll move to influencers or UGC creators. So I shelled out more money, $300-400 a video, sent a couple products to multiple different UGC creators. They posted videos, all flopped. They were trash. So then one day I'm sitting at Cheeky Monkeys with my wife, my daughter, and then my brother. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go back home today. I'm going to post another video and we'll see what happens. And I went back. And that video just blew up. I think it got like 20 million views. I sold out every unit I had. We did $20,000 in sales that day, and then $20,000 the next day until I was completely sold out. Then I had to switch it back to pre-sales again. And then I was like, all right, now I need to buy 10,000 units from my supplier. And that was like 100 grand that I didn't have or want to spend at the time. And then that's whenever, Jason knows this, but that's whenever I told Al, I was like, all right, I'm going to actually focus on this full time, quit my job. I couldn't do two things at once. I had 30 people on my sales team, so I couldn't like juggle this. It wasn't like a sales job where I could kind of do this on the side. So I quit. We actually moved into my in-laws' place, and I was like, we got no income for a while. I told Al, I was like, let's go 6 months, see if this works. If it doesn't, I'll go back and get another job. And after I did that first sellout, the production run took like 60 days. So again, no more money really coming in. The pre-sales, your conversion rate's going to go down significantly. So, I was selling had a 3% conversion rate when I was in stock. Then after it dropped to like less than 1%. So because people don't want to wait that long.
Yeah.
So sales went down, money went away, and now I'm $100,000 in debt that I just paid to the supplier for all this money. So it was a stressful couple months at that point. And I actually did go start applying for jobs because then we found out we were pregnant again. So I didn't have insurance, and I was like, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? I just gave up this great job that I had to launch this internet product. What the heck did I just do? But honestly, just stayed faithful, and I just thought that it was going to work out. Just kept that mindset that it was going to work out, and I wasn't going to quit until I saw it through. And thank God that I did. Got it back in stock, kept posting videos, and just went parabolic again right around Christmas times when I restocked. And that's when we did we did like 130,000 in sales that month. So
Wow.
Yeah.
crushed it.
So the TikTok videos,
Yep.
like everybody wants to be able to create a product and then post a video and then it go get 20 million views. Like that's,
Yeah.
Is it almost like gambling whenever you're like, okay, from because you said you posted a bunch that didn't get any, and then all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So like, what did you do different that got that video to go crazy?
I'm glad you brought that up because the TikTok thing, I think everybody gets wrong, but this was a lot what I researched a lot too. You have to actually look at your analytics and see your hook rates and whatnot. So that basically means how many people watch the first 3 seconds without falling off. So I just thought my first videos was like so good. Sometimes you just get lucky, but my hook rate was strong. So a lot of those videos, like for instance, one of my most viral videos, it's a video of my dad, and the video started off where he's just like talking. He's like, my kid always takes my charger, whatever. And it was a terrible video. It got like no views, like literally 1,000 views. So I shortened it. I was like, okay, maybe if I shorten it down to 30 seconds, it'll be a little bit more captivating. People don't have to watch a whole minute-long video. And that one got a little bit more views, but they were still dropping off after the first 5 seconds. Then what I did was I took that same video, chopped it down to 17 seconds. The very beginning of the video is him dropping the outlet cover on accident. And then also put a meme on top, which is like a picture of a girl. It looks like a girl tweeted a post that says, "Why are dads so dramatic? I'm grounded because I took his phone charger again." So I took a 1.5-minute long video, took it to a 30-second video with no meme added, took that down to a 17-second video with a meme added, and that video did 17 million views and brought in like 50,000 in sales. So it's a lot of testing. It's not as easy as you think. And I also did this across like 5 or 6 different accounts.
Yeah.
So really what I was doing is like testing the videos on alt accounts, like separate accounts. And then once one starts to show signs of virality, I'll do one more final edit, post it on my main channel, and then it blows up. So when you go to my pages, it looks like all my videos just go viral. But it's really because I posted them elsewhere before that. So
It's really smart.
That is an incredible.
It's genius.
That's
Yeah.
genius. It's
Yeah.
genius.
But I will say the organic side of it's hard, and it's getting harder. That's one thing. It is also a lottery ticket too. Like you're gambling, but you're also, the more times you post, the more chances you get. So
Yeah.
I looked at it like that. I was like, all right, I've posted 50 in the lifetime of this company so far. At the beginning, 2 of them went viral. I need to post 5,000.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have more that go viral. So that's just what I did. I was just pumping them out all day.
And social companies are now, people that have figured out virality, they're starting to penalize those accounts a little bit to try to make
Yeah.
you pay for ads.
Yeah.
So the fact that you were able to keep iterating, keep overcoming that, again, it's just hats off to you, man. That's really cool. So, all right. So what brought you, like, how'd you get to Shark Tank? How'd you prepare for that? What was the show like? Let's talk about that whole experience. How many times did you practice in front of the mirror?
Dude, so many. I didn't even plan to really go. Like, I'd watched the show forever. I mean, I watched it in high school in class. We had
Yeah.
a Money Matters class.
Same.
We got to watch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I always liked it. Always watched it. I didn't keep up with it religiously. Like, I didn't watch every single episode, but anytime it came on, we were watching it. And then, honestly, I just looked at it like an opportunity to get it in front of more people.
Yeah.
And another thing too about like my sales and PermaPlug and stuff is like, now that I've been involved in the 3PL space and I see other brand sales and stuff, they do way more in sales, but I want to make sure people know I didn't spend any money on ads, like maybe $5,000 in ads. So my only cost was shipping the product and my cost of goods. So all that, everything else was just straight profit. We've started running ads since then, but doing it organic, I mean, obviously it's purely profit for the most part, past your COGS. But January came around. This was right after our big month in December where we did like 120,000, which was my first month. Again, I was like, okay, this is really working. What's next? And before that, I was like, I could never go on Shark Tank because the company's only done like 20 grand in sales here and there, on and off. I was out of stock, in stock. I just wasn't a legit business yet. But then once I did the month where I had 120,000 in sales, and then January I did like another 100 or so, I was like, okay, this could actually be like an investable business now. And I applied online to Shark Tank. And I was talking to my wife, Allie, and she was like, she looked it up. And she's like, they're also doing an open casting call in Vegas. And I was like, should I? Or like, do you think they'll just see my application? And she's like, you should just go. And so I just, on a whim, just flew out there solo, completely by myself. My granddad had made like a little prop display. This story is actually awesome.
Shout out to Allie.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Like
She saw it through from the beginning.
that is such a powerful thing for your wife to be like, listen, go.
No,
with babies at home, like
Yeah.
you need to do this. This is what's best for our family. That's really cool.
She held it down, dude. And I'm telling you, since the first day I flew out there, she like says, she'll tell you, she'll be like, she says from the very beginning she knew I was gonna go on the show. She's like, I know for sure you're gonna get on. So when I'd be like stressing about, I'm like, what's the point? It's a waste of time. I'm gonna be paying this money to go out there. You know, I'm bootstrapping this company. Should I really go spend, $500 for the hotel and the flight? She's like, do it. You're gonna get on. I was like, all right, and I went. Flew out there solo, didn't know anybody, didn't tell anybody I was going either because this was another kind of, maybe a little bit of like my fear of rejection or failure from the first time. I was like, I don't want to show people I'm trying to do this and then it not work out, then I look like a fool.
At this point in time, you're living with your in-laws.
We actually this is now January of 2023, I think, and we had moved back. So we lived with them for about 6 months. They moved, so we had to move. But got our own spot back again then because I'd made some decent money from the past 3 months.
Good.
And felt safe again. And then, flew to Vegas, and you wake up in the morning and there's a line of 1,000 people. I got there early. There's literally over 1,000 people in line, and a lot of them, I see them, they have like full teams, and they have like these props and stuff, and I'm hearing them talk. They're like, yeah, this is our 5th casting call that we've gone to over 5 years. I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing here? Like, I'm wasting my time. These people have been trying every year for 5 years, and they're not on yet, and this guy's brand actually looks pretty legit. And I'm sitting here with a literal wood. It's actually the same thing I used on the show. That wooden thing that my grandpa made for me. That I have it propped in there because I didn't want to invest any more money into this. I just was like, this works. This shows my product. Let's see if it works. And I sat there, waited in line. And what they do is they have 4 judges tables. And these aren't sharks. These aren't business people. These are producers that obviously they know some business stuff now. But you go in front of all 1,000 people that are waiting in line. You're in like a snake line. And you pitch to one of the sharks randomly. And they called my name, and I wanted this one guy over here because he looked really nice. I was like, oh, that guy'd be perfect. He looked like a little bit older. I was like, maybe he's got kids because my product's perfect for parents with kids.
Yep.
I was like, he'll be perfect. And I was right about to go up to him, and this other lady called my name, and I was like, oh, shit. So went up to her, but this was a God thing, 100%. Set my little thing down, set my prop down, and you get 60 seconds to pitch. So you just go. And I had that fully rehearsed. I practiced the plan, but just drafted it up the day before. And as I'm pitching, I look behind her, and she's the only judge that's sitting remotely close to a wall, and she has a charger plugged into the wall right behind her, just a normal charger. And like during my pitch, I got to like mention, I was like, and that charger, when you go to lunch, it'll be gone when you get back because somebody's going to steal it. And it made her laugh, and it was just perfect. So I got to wrap in my product right to her. And I just know that was a God thing. But she kind of stonewalled me or whatever right then and didn't really say much. She wasn't like, great job, that's awesome, you'll hear from us soon. She's like, okay, thanks, and then took my papers, and then I walked off. That was it. But I still felt like it went good. And you just fly back home, and you don't really hear anything. And then 2 weeks later, I'm like filming videos in my office of PermaPlug, and I just get a call from an LA number. I was like, oh, this is it. So then they call me. I answer it, and they're like, oh, we want to move you to the next round. And little did I know that was just the beginning of the interviews that you do with them. It's a 6-month-long process from there, from the call where they say you're moving past that round to the time you actually film. But that's how the Vegas trip went, at least.
Wow.
It was wild.
Yeah.
It was long, but it was awesome.
That's incredible. Okay, so walk us through the 6 months. Like, what happens next?
Yeah, this is...
And the Shark Tank contract, I imagine, is like a book.
Yeah, that took like a few days to fill that out. I mean, they want to know everything about you, your life, your business, everything. So you fill out like a giant sheet. And this is all public stuff, so like people can even go see the application, I'm sure, and see it. But the 6-month process, what they're doing is... I think they say over 80,000 people apply every year, and only 80 make the show or less. So they're just cutting people out every week. So basically, if you doing the Zoom call next week, that means you made it to the next round. But you never know if they're going to put that Zoom call on your calendar every week. So I tried to do my best to just like not think about it, but it's also impossible to not think about it. So if I didn't hear from them for 3 or 4 days, I'm like sweating. I'm like, dang, I'm out, I'm out. Not a big deal, whatever. But I'm definitely like down in the dumps a little bit that I didn't make it. But then, the second that I'd start showing those signs, I'd pray and be like, God, like, if this is it, just let me know. And then my phone rings. And then I'd be moving to the next round. So it was crazy. But yeah, you just, every week, they basically want to talk and make sure your business is still doing good. See what your sales are like. And then practice pitching with them to see how charismatic you are on camera and see if you're a good fit. Because, I mean, this is a business for them, too. Like, you have to be entertaining for them.
Right.
Good on camera. So, I mean, I know that's a big part of it. But that's how it went. You get assigned specific producers. You just talk to them basically every couple of weeks, and you try to ask them like, "You guys think I'm gonna make it?" They're like, I don't know. They don't even know.
Yeah.
So it's really just the perfect combination, the perfect storm of all the things that have to align, I guess, with them and their bosses to keep you moving. But I got lucky and just kept trucking.
Dude, that's incredible. So if you haven't watched the episode, go watch the episode. It's incredible. So you walk into the room, and you rehearse this like 100 times, I'm sure, before you get in there.
Yeah.
So walk us through like what the experience was. You get the call. You know you're going on the show. You show up. Like what's the day of look like?
So the day of, you stay in a hotel. You can't really talk to anybody else. You're not even allowed to tell anybody that you're there doing this. Because there's no guarantee, even with the day you film, that show gets aired. Yeah. There could be a mic issue where my mic wasn't on. If that happens, you get one take. If it didn't work, you just don't make the cut. You just don't go on the show. Or like if you do film and say like a natural disaster happens or something terrible happens in the news, they could completely just wipe your segment, put whatever's on the news, and that's it. So there's no guarantees. You can't tell anybody about it.
Do you still get the deal that you make?
I think you probably would, yeah. I think you still would, because we do all that stuff even outside of filming and whatnot anyway.
Got it.
But, so yeah, again, they're like reiterating to you this whole time, you can't tell anybody about this because you still don't even know if you're filming. Filming does not guarantee that you're going to be aired. So you're just kind of like solo. I went there completely alone. Allie stayed at home, was packing the orders and stuff for us. And you sit in a green room, just like you kind of see on the movies where you have your little trailer. You sit there, they give you a bowl of snacks, and then you just sit there, dude. So
just eating some pretzels.
Literally, you're
your
just
mouth's all
chilling.
dry because you're nervous.
Yeah, and I got there at like 8 a.m. and you can film. They film all day long. So they just basically entrepreneur after entrepreneur. They just told me like, you'll be up at some point. So I got there probably like 8 a.m. And
are you in a room with other guys that are going to be filming
solo.
that day? Just they put you in a room by yourself, like just a box.
Yeah, they don't, and they have like code names that so you can't see other entrepreneurs' companies. It'll say like PP, so people don't know it's PermaPlug.
Yeah,
because they don't want us talking to each other, which is understandable. Whatever. But yeah, you're just chilling there solo, and I practice my pitch over and over, and I'm just sitting there. But like, I knew I was going up in the next 1 to 4 hours. But have y'all ever heard where they say like, you have to pray you don't go see a judge right before lunch because they're hungry and they're pissed. Like, go after lunch before they're mad. If you go before lunch, you're going to jail because they're pissed. Same thing happened to me. They came in about what I thought would be like an hour and a half before I was going to pitch, and they're like, "All right, you're either going to be the pitch right before lunch or right after." I was like, "Perfect. I'll chill. I want to be right after lunch. Like the Sharks will be full, happy, solid." That didn't happen. So they came in and grabbed me like, "Oh no, you actually be the last one right before." So I go in and I sit. Then you go move from your trailer to like a green room where they like powder you up one last time, start micing you up. When you're doing that, you can kind of overhear the company that's on stage right now. And then the nerves like really start hitting. My hands were like shaking. And I'm like, should I even be doing this? Because they are ripping into this other company in front. That's in front of me. They were like, getting ready. Quit! You're never gonna make it. I was like, oh my gosh, did I even think about the repercussions if they think this is bad? Like this could completely destroy what I've built so far. Yeah. And that's where I came up with the idea to break the ice with that $2,000 joke.
Which was genius.
Genius.
I was just.
You got a great laugh out of every shark.
Every single one of them looked at each other like, all right.
Yeah.
That's the first time that's happened, and that was legendary.
I had to, because again, I just heard like how tense they were out there. I don't know if it's really because they were hungry or they really didn't like that company, but they were tense. And so I literally told my producers that I was working with for 6 months now. I feel like we kind of knew each other. I was like, I'm going to tell them like, my sales are a lot lower than they are at first. And he goes, let me ask Steve about this first. He did not know if I should do it. And I was like, dude, I'm going to do it. And then he came back like 5 minutes later. He's like, you know what, just do whatever you want to do.
So who asked you that? Mark? Was it Mark? Or was it Mr. Wonderful?
Kevin asked me how many sales I had or something like that. And Kevin was already messing with me. So it actually was perfect because...
Yeah, he called you like sweetie, honey, poopsie baby or something.
Poopsie baby or something. I was like, come on.
Sweetie,
what
honey,
are we
poopsie
doing?
baby. And even before, some stuff they cut out of the show was like, he was calling me like, I don't even have a baby face. I feel like I look old, but I was walking out and he's like calling me baby face. Yeah. And they didn't put it on the show or anything. So he was messing with me from the second I walked in.
Yeah.
And during my pitch, he cuts me off. I mean, you kind of see it on the show where like, everyone's like, Kevin, he's not done yet. He's not done. He straight up just cut me off while I was talking. They made it look more normal than it really was, but he threw me off. So I really paused. I was like, oh, shoot, this guy just threw me off like heavily.
Yeah.
And then I get back to it, luckily. And then once he gave that to me, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm giving him this joke right here. And then after, everyone went on him. Like, they didn't really show it as much.
Yeah.
Even Robert was like, Kevin, he got you, bro. Got you. Yeah.
Yeah, Lori even said thing. And then Lori tried to turn around and was like, oh, I like this guy. I like what he's doing. I like his vibe. I'm going to give it back to him. You want the good news or the bad news? And you were like, you know what? Delayed gratification. Just give it to me bad first, and then we'll go to the good news. And she's going, I'm out. And you're like...
I was like, why? Yeah, no answer. Like, just what? And then she hit me back with it. Yeah.
Then she goes, good news, I'm back in. Yeah. And then, bam, makes the deal right there. Literally, I had chills watching it. Yeah, like, this is insane. It was awesome.
I get pumped when I watch it too. It was such a blessing that it worked out the way that it did like that. But I couldn't have asked for it to go better. Whenever they edit it too, and this is one thing people probably don't know about like watching, it's like it actually is a Shark Tank. Like, they are not being cordial and like waiting for one person to finish talking before the other person talks. You're trying to juggle this guy yelling at you, asking about your numbers, while this guy asks you or makes you an offer. Like, they're talking over each other, and you have to like balance the room, answer all the questions, because I don't want to ignore Lori's question because I want to work with her.
Right.
But he's asking me a question too. He might give me an offer, so you're really having to like juggle it. But I did prioritize Lori a lot. Like, you can see in a couple clips where somebody's asked me a question. I'm like looking at her like I'll like, not in a weird way, but like wink at her, be like, yes, I heard that. I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Because I knew when I walked in there, I wanted to prioritize her listening. And I'd seen and done a ton of research from other shows where like she did not like if people didn't make good eye contact with her or like felt like they were disrespecting her, which is totally understandable. But wanted to give her that respect too. And then before I went to, I was walking on the treadmill at Lifetime, and what I used to do to practice for this, and I'm backing up a little bit, but I created a custom GPT and chat GPT, and I'd walk on the treadmill, put my headphones in, put it in voice mode, and it would practice being the shark. So I would like talk to it while I'm on the treadmill, and that's how I practiced. It literally would talk to me like it was Kevin, and I'd talk back and answer all the questions. So
that's what I was going to
really
say.
cool.
Like, because you have to be sitting there thinking about, okay, because you come in and you say, I want $350,000 for what, 15% of the company.
Yeah.
And then they're coming in going, okay, I'll do that, but I want 25% of the company. And I want a $2 or $3 royalty on every unit in perpetuity. Yeah. Like, did you plan for them to throw that fastball at you, or were you caught off guard by that going, okay, no, I can't do that?
I mean, the 25% thing, I should have known to just do the math in my head. But honestly, I swear on my life, I just said that to buy myself more time. Mm-hmm. Like, and everyone's like, oh, you should have just known, like, 25% of 350, whatever. Yeah. But I bought myself more time because he was making me that offer almost the same time Lori was trying to get my attention. So I basically said that, and they made it look like he got his answer back quick. Him and Mark even pulled out their cell phones to do the math on that. So they didn't do it in their heads either, just for the record. But yeah, it throws you off. But I really just buying myself more time whenever he gave me the 25%. I was like, what does that put my valuation at? And then I moved over to Lori whenever she started giving me her offer too.
I actually love that you went back to him like, what does that put because it's clear that you're calculating all the different offers. You're thinking about each person. You're like, look, good offer. What does that put my valuation at? And then you move to the next thing. I was like, dude, this is like you handled the actual shark of the room. Like, so many sharks coming at you. And then like I feel like Mark and what's the other guy's name? Robert. Like they got out because they just looked at it like there's already three guys that are just jumping all over this. Like, they didn't even want to try to make it a 5-way competition. They got out because everybody jumped so fast. They were like, I'm not going to compete for this. But they saw the value, and they're like, even Mark said, you're so far along. You have all these things. You already know SEO. You've already got all these things. You're chugging along. Like, man, all I'm giving you is money. You already have everything else figured
Yeah.
out. So he's just like, look, I can't add the value that I
Yeah.
want to add to the companies that I invest in.
Yeah, that
which
was
I thought
awesome.
alone, that even him
Yeah.
backing out, but saying that was such a big just compliment to you.
I thought the same thing. Yeah, I told him thank you as I walked off for that too, because that made me feel good too to hear him say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. Like when I made them all say what it put the valuation at, it makes them put a dollar amount on the value of it in their head too.
Yeah.
So they're getting to kind of like compare it with each other. They didn't show it either, but when Lori gave me her offer, which was after Daniel asked Lori if she wanted to go in on the deal with him, and she's like, "No, I want this for myself."
Yeah.
So that was
That's
actually
even cooler, yeah.
another compliment. I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's sick." So
You said a couple times that, hey, they didn't show this on the show, and I'm not sure how many people know this, but it is a longer pitch because I think it only
Yeah.
shows 8 to 10 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Like, how long were you in the room, and what was that whole
I was in like standing in front of them for probably about like an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And you only see anywhere from like 10 to 15 minutes of that on the show.
Right.
So there's a ton more. Like there's honestly some stuff that I'm glad they cut out because it was kind of pointless and fluff, but we got into a ton. Like me and Robert went back and forth for 5 minutes because he didn't like understand the value of it. And I did all my research on all these people. So I knew he has twin kids. I was like, how old are your twins? They're like 2 years old, right? They're young. And he's like, yeah, they're 2. I'm like, wait till they're 12 and they start stealing each other's chargers and stealing your chargers and you'll see the value in this. And that's actually when Mark chimes into him and he's like, my kids do it all the time. Like you'll
Yeah.
see. So there's stuff like that they cut out because they have to. They have to make it entertaining and there's just some stuff that doesn't provide value to the show. But you're up there for way longer than it shows. So, I mean, think about how like exhausting it is. Your adrenaline is pumping for an hour and 20 minutes. Plus, it was pumping all morning before that.
Yeah,
Man.
right,
So
right.
I'm gassed.
I also
you came out, you could see like the energy in you, and it wasn't like maybe a nervous energy, but maybe like anxious energy. But
Yeah.
like a minute into it, you were like cool as a cucumber.
you
and
were
you were like,
you were
Yeah.
throwing
Yeah.
every dart you needed to throw. One of my other favorite pieces of this, and we can move on from Shark Tank. One of my other favorite pieces of this, first guy tries to shoot you down, going, like people go to hotels, they're traveling, they're not going to want to take this
Yeah.
stuff, they can't take it with them.
Yeah.
And you go, actually, that's a key player in how this could go because hotels could buy this in bulk and put it in their hotels for
Yeah.
their guests. And then he turned around and he goes, oh, so you're saying that they could be a customer.
He saw
and
dollar signs.
It
right there.
clicked
Yeah.
to him in that point, but
Yeah.
he tried to shoot you down and you threw it back at him and turned him
Yeah.
into like,
Yeah.
whoa. So you're right
Yeah.
after that, you just had this, just from there, you knew like, all right, you already tried to throw one at me.
Yeah.
I threw it right back at you and now you're just confident and you rolled into it.
Yeah.
It's incredible. So what happens? So let's move on to like, okay, you got the deal with Lori.
Mm-hmm.
You're pumped because that's who you went in to go do it with. Like, what happens next? Like, what are the next steps after, you guys shake hands? And actually, you went for a handshake, and she didn't even let you. She went in for the
a
hug
hug,
because
yeah.
she was that excited about it.
Yeah, that was sick. I thought that was funny watching that back too. You just get back to work, dude. There's a long time between the time that you film and the time that it gets on air. So you go through all the due diligence with their team, you meet their team, and then basically you get to work.
Yeah.
Like they helped me really legitimize a lot of things that I didn't know. You think you're an expert in all this stuff, and then like, especially with me, like I thought it was good of me to be the founder that was wearing all the hats, and they're all like, no, that's not really what you should be doing, dude. Like
So-
you need to focus on one thing, basically.
So are they bringing in like they obviously have full teams that help integrate
Yeah.
all of their investments. So is
Yeah.
it like, look, like as a consultant on top of an investor where Lori's
Yeah.
coming in with a team going, okay, let's look at everything, and they're like strategizing, game planning, and helping you make some decisions to sort of, like you said, legitimize everything and really turn it into a
Yeah.
business that's going to go.
Yeah, they don't like place specific, like they don't place like a CEO with every company or anything like that, but it's like more consulting, like you said. Like
Yeah.
tells me what to do. Like even the second I got into the back room, her team came back there and talked to me. We shook hands and they congratulated me and stuff. And he basically talked to me about what I said on the show so far. He's like, all right, first thing you do is go to your Amazon listing, do this, this, and this. Like they're already starting to get to work and just kind of put the right systems in place or tell you what to do. And they also want to fill out like your capabilities of doing it on your own, because just like everything else, like it's not just, they're not going to take it over and do this for you. They're
Yeah.
going to walk you through the steps to do what they think you need to do to get it fully legit. Like I wasn't even using QuickBooks before that. Like it put me on QuickBooks. I mean, even just basic stuff like that. So yeah, they just put all the stuff in front of me that I needed to do to go full legit, because I was looking at this like bootstrap startup, and they just kind of make you turn it from that into a company, which is what I needed to do before that show aired anyway.
So you make the deal on the actual show. They haven't aired it yet. You go back to work. You're going back. They're helping you do some of these things. Like, what was the impact on the business when the show aired?
So that was so sick. So every brand's going to respond differently to the airing. Like, I had talked to someone else that I knew that did the show, and they only did like 200 orders that night. And so that kind of worried me. I was like, what the heck? Why'd you only do 200 orders? But it depends. Like, the viewership has to match the product and all that. And I feel like it was perfect for mine because, like, in my mind, parents love watching this with their kids and everything. I was like, boom, this is perfect. So I actually set up a big monitor in my living room on the night we had a watch party with my Shopify dashboard and my Amazon dashboard. I had like 8,000 visitors on my site at one time, and it just went parabolic. So, yeah, it's definitely like my baseline, what I had to pump out 30 videos a month to get in sales every month. Is now just like my baseline just because the show was there.
Yeah.
So the Shark Tank effect, like, it definitely happens. Like,
Dude.
It's kind of spoiled me for sure because, like, I don't have to pump out 50 videos. I need to keep doing it. But it was life changing for sure. Yeah.
Can you tell how many times it reruns too? Because you see the big spike, or has it had a lot of reruns?
I haven't had the official rerun yet. I have a survey on my site where it says, like, how did you find us? And people are always clicking Shark Tank episode on TV because I'll specify Shark Tank episode on TV or Shark Tank episode clip on YouTube or something. And a lot of them put on TV, so I don't know where they're seeing it, honestly. But they will notify me if they do like an actual official re-air, which they're going through season 16 now, so I assume mine will be later this year.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the spike because the other guys that did the show had another big spike too.
Right.
Yeah. But it's helped me. I mean, like, even just the direct sales. Like, I've gotten people now, like, I just started a partnership with a company to bring PermaPlug to Asian market to hotels. So, like, that's another Shark Tank effect, is like just those opportunities that come your way.
Yeah.
Where they saw you on there, and then you form other types of partnerships that I probably would have never found outside of that. So,
well, you start out the business where you're the guy going to people on LinkedIn trying to figure things out, and now you're the guy people want to come to on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
That's got to feel pretty cool.
Yeah, actually, I mentioned it earlier, but I'll reiterate. I messaged a guy on LinkedIn named Lance, and Lance, if you're watching this, this is a comeback for you. But I messaged him for advice on crowdfunding. No, it's not his problem. He didn't see it. He didn't see my message, and then I went viral on TikTok actually before Shark Tank, and then he was going to message me on LinkedIn, and he was like, "Oh my God, I just saw you had messaged me. I was about to message you to ask you for advice on like social media."
Very cool.
So then we linked up and like worked together on some stuff.
That's amazing.
That's crazy how, dude.
Yeah.
That just goes to show you keep going, and there's no light at the end of the tunnel in so many businesses, right? Like even in our business and in businesses you've ran before, you go to work every day, you're fighting, and a lot of times you look up and you don't see any light at the end of the tunnel.
But
you just keep going, and then you look up and all of a sudden you start to see something, and it's just that compound interest. You know, you don't know it, you don't feel it sometimes, you just keep going, and it'll get there. It's going somewhere.
Yep. Every little thing you do compounds. And just like dude, that's the big, like what you just said is the biggest thing, is nobody's telling you to keep going. You don't know if it's going to keep working, but you just keep going, and then eventually it'll work out. I think the only way you lose is when you quit.
Yeah.
So if you just don't quit, you cannot lose.
Right.
So just never stop going. I mean, people have messaged me since Shark Tank and like asked me for help with their stuff, and I'm like, look at their page. I'm like, how many videos have you posted? What are you doing? Just keep going. You don't need to get everything legit first. You don't need to get an investor first. I think you can just, investing obviously would help at some point, but just keep going. Don't stop. Don't wait for somebody to respond to you. Don't wait for the right advice. Don't wait for the right timing. Just go. You'll figure it out as you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Learn
so now as you scale and scale and scale, you're moving into, how are getting creative and thinking through different ways you can optimize the efficiency of the business and how you're fulfilling orders. So a lot of brands, their fulfillment partner, is the closest business partner that they have, because they're the last person that touches it before it gets to the consumer that bought it, right? So it's very important that you have a very strong relationship with your fulfillment partner. We preach that from the rooftops when we're talking to brands. They're coming to us, hey, help me find a 3PL in XYZ market. This is what I'm doing. And we help them. Hey, look, here are the 5 people you should evaluate to that are the best fit for your operation specifically. And you guys go through the process with them, and then, figure out who you think the best fit is from there. But all 5 of them are a good fit. And that relationship is extremely important, right? So you look at this and you go, maybe I'm gonna do it myself and see how we can kick this thing off. But then walk me through where did it come about where you said, I'm going to start ShipSquared, and then I'm going to fulfill the orders for my own PermaPlug company,
Yep.
and then I'm going to go offer this service to other companies and build a fulfillment company to support PermaPlug? It's a brilliant idea.
I thought of it, one, because when I first started PermaPlug, I was never going to self-fulfill it. I did rate shop or shop around with other 3PLs, but my product was so new, I didn't even have like a defined set of SKUs. Like my cords so PermaPlug comes with the charging adapter, the cover, and a cable, but they used to not even come together. I'd be manually combining them because I didn't know how many customers were going to order which size cable or which type. So I couldn't put them together. If I would have put them together, I'd have been stuck with SKUs sitting on the shelf for a lot longer. So I was manually doing that. And when I was trying to ask 3PLs if they could do that, they're like, nah, not really. So that was really the first reason why I started self-fulfilling it. And then, eventually I was like, I could just get a warehouse and fulfill this myself, because my end goal with PermaPlug from the beginning, it's changed a little bit now, was to sell it or license it out. And I was like, okay, what if eventually I could sell it or license it out, but make the company sign a contract with my fulfillment company, so I could maybe keep a royalty on my patent, and then also I'll still make money in perpetuity on PermaPlug by being the fulfillment provider for them, even if another company owns it.
Right.
So that was my original plan. That's why I started doing it. And my business partner now in ShipSquared, which is a full-service 3PL focused on D2C, but we also do B2B and retail fulfillment now. He also owns 2 brands. So I was like, let's just put PermaPlug, his 2 brands together, offset the costs by pretty much absorbing all of those 3 together. It'd just be cheaper for us to do it, build the warehouse out that way. And really, we didn't even call it ShipSquared back then. We were just fulfilling for our 3 brands. And then I just kind of realized, like, okay, this is actually a pretty valuable service for other people. And I'm the sales guy. I know how to sell. Like, PermaPlug's kind of running itself now, or getting a little bit to the point where I'm not in so much of the weeds day-to-day operations, like trying to sell or at least doing the operations side. And I never want to stop working. So I was like, all right, this is a perfect place for me to kind of start pivoting into. So we officially started ShipSquared. I mean, it's been about a year and a half now, because filming for Shark Tank was a lot longer than it looks from the show. And got our first client from referrals, and then we've just snowballed from there. And I think that I've been enjoying doing ShipSquared, honestly, a lot more than being the founder of PermaPlug, because it's just like you are their partner. Like, you're actually a pivotal partner and a long-term partner with these brands. Like, you're talking to them every single day. I talk to like my clients of ShipSquared, I mean, more than I talk to people that work on the team for PermaPlug. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, it's just something that's kind of where the idea started. So it went from a self-fulfilled model for PermaPlug to kind of like a hybrid for a couple brands, then referrals, and then now we're accepting clients from like multiple lead sources. So I don't know. I have heard of other 3PL operators that started as brand owners, and I personally think some of those guys are the best operators, because they really know what it's like to be in the brand owner's shoes.
You know,
on the D2C side.
Exactly. You know their pain points. You know what they're looking for.
Yep.
Yeah, you've lived it, and so and now you understand what's important to them and how to deliver it.
Yep.
So that's amazing. It's such a cool story. I love hearing it every time. So I mean, but talk about the early days of ShipSquared. I mean, the location you were there and how you grew, how you found more clients. Like,
man, I hope our current clients don't judge us for this, but we really had one, so it doesn't really matter that much. We had ourselves and 2 others. We started in a 1,500 square foot barn, which was my grandpa's barn. 6 months later, we moved into, it was like about a 6,000 square foot total spot, but we only had access to about 2,000 of it, maybe 3. We were literally we were packing orders outside. We had to roll the packing tables outside because we had so many Gaylords filled with stuff that we couldn't even fit them anywhere. And then things slowed down, because then it wasn't Q4 anymore. So then it was time to go get a real lease, and we didn't bite off enough. We definitely we went with a smaller, safer size building.
At this point, is Jason kind of like, so you're working at Grow now at that point, because Jason just got into this, on the Grow side too. So like now he's in the logistics space, specifically working for fulfillment companies, managing their real estate across the country.
Yep.
And then same time, all of these things are happening. You guys are, I don't know if you know this, these guys are brother-in-laws.
Yeah.
You're talking about it at the Christmas table, going, "Hey, let's."
Yeah, I think we did. I think it was on the couch at Christmas actually. I was like, "Dude, you're doing 3PL stuff too." Like, I just kind of started doing this too, and asked for advice about the space size. And him, along with pretty much everybody I asked, and I should have listened to everybody, was kind of like, get a little bit bigger space than you need. You will grow into it. And he still helped me. He was patient, but I didn't listen to that advice because I am a risk taker, but I was like a 3-year lease. I was like, dude, I'm good because we move pallets so fast with my product. I don't ever like overstock. I'll always only keep 60 days worth of supply, and I really teach my D2C guys to do the same thing. So I felt like we didn't need that much, but I was wrong. We outgrew the spot that he got us into within like 3 months. So it literally, yeah. So now we're doing a couple different locations that we're working out of, but he definitely like, yeah, I probably should have listened to his advice for sure. But either way, he got a deal for us done quick, and we got to move quick. Got us a couple free months rent too. So yeah, that was clutch.
Yeah, man.
Sorry about that.
No, look, it's you're a smart, pragmatic guy that said, hey, I don't want to bite off more than I can chew, which is, I would much rather have a client that does that than, bites off too much and then, now they're in trouble and it can really derail their business. So, and especially in the stages you are, like going from 2,000 to 5,000 or, to 10,000, that's a bigger chunk than, 100 to 120 or something like that. I mean, this is multiples of an expense to your bottom line. So, but you're growing, you're getting new clients, and now you're, that business is growing, and
and the plan changes too. Like if you asked me 6 months ago what my plan was with ShipSquared, it's completely different than it was now. I was thinking we'd run lean and mean with like 6 clients that are low SKU, high volume. So we didn't need as big of a facility. We'll be good with this. And clearly, things just changed. So we've been blessed enough to have like clients that are pretty plugged in with, in the e-com community to where we've just been growing really based on referrals. And yeah, we just now got a lease signed as of today with a 30,000 square foot facility, fully HVAC. So now we can take on like makeup brands and other stuff that needs climate control.
Nutraceutical companies, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
HVAC space in DFW, because we get to 110 degrees out here.
Yep.
That's going to set you apart big time.
Yeah, that's huge, dude. Huge.
And so many brands are looking at Dallas going, you know what? I need to centralize my fulfillment because I can hit so much of the country in population from Dallas. But also, I was talking to a brand the other day, and they said there's a lot of people that live on the coast, but like for whatever reason, people in Texas spend more money.
Right. Yeah.
So when you start looking at zip codes from brands looking at, we're selling stuff all over the country, but the vast majority of them are selling in Florida and Texas.
Yep.
So the 3PLs go, we all need to be in Dallas because, if that's where the vast majority of all these orders are going, that's where we got to be closer to the end consumer.
Right.
So you're positioned in Dallas in an HVAC building, building your fulfillment center alongside PermaPlug and your own brand.
Yep.
And things are rocking and rolling. So a good example of this, and you were saying was funny. You're going, man, I didn't think we were going to grow that fast. I wasn't sure we were going to do these. I didn't know how it was going to go.
Right.
Look at Aaron Rubin with Ship Hero.
Yep.
He had a jiu-jitsu mat company. That's what he was selling, jiu-jitsu mats. And he's building that business on his own. He uses 3PL. He's not getting great service. He decides, I'm going to go take this in-house.
Yeah.
He starts doing it in-house. He realizes, man, I need a better system for this because the software is not great out there. Builds a software system. Now all of a sudden, Ship Hero is born. They have one of the most incredible WMSs you could have for a fulfillment center.
Yep.
And now they have warehouses all over the country. They're acquiring people. They have probably, 9 locations around Canada and the U.S.
Yeah.
And they're huge. 150, 200,000 square foot, 300,000 square foot, full throttle fulfillment centers.
Yeah.
And they started from a guy with a brand. They decided, I'm going to go do it on my own, and then maybe I should start doing this for some other customers. And then you fast forward, and that's only been, maybe 8 years.
Yeah, that's crazy. Their growth is insane.
Right.
They have, and clearly they built a good product because we were at a 3PL operator networking event that you guys hosted last night. Everyone was screaming at me to use Ship Hero.
Yeah,
so it is like he's built a cult-like following because the product's good. So that's like the best testament to that you built something right. And again, he's an operator, so he knows what it's like to be in the weeds. He's been an operator of the warehouse side of it now too, so he knows what it's like to build that WMS. Says, because these other WMSs that we've shopped for and looked at, from what I've heard from others too, they weren't built by brand owners or 3PL operators or even warehouse operators in general. So,
or they're built for different things, right?
Yeah.
Like you can look at Extensive. Well, Extensive, it's a good system, but it's kind of like all things to all people. If you're doing a lot of B2B, it's a really good system. And doing some e-com, it's a good system.
Yeah.
But if you're doing like heavy, full throttle e-commerce fulfillment, it can do it. But Ship Hero is way more tailored specifically to that, right?
Yeah.
You know, and there's a lot of other ones, like as you continue to scale and grow, like the bigger fulfillment centers, a lot of those guys use Made for Net or Camelot or you know, there's 100 of them, which we spend a lot of time researching those because we need to be able to talk to that, speak to that to our clients whenever they're growing and they're looking at new WMSs. I mean, we want to be a consultant that can help them figure those things out. So that conversation last night is a bunch of guys, all operators, talking about the WMS they're using, and they all love and scream, look for what you're doing and what they're doing. Like Ship Hero is the best, and I happen to agree at the stage you're at. I think it's a great system. So
you guys were the first people I asked about WMS recommendations. So I know it makes sense for you guys to be good at having all those people pre-vetted.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the questions I wanted to ask too is, walk us through some of the I want to give up thoughts, and what points did you ever get to a point where you're just like, I just want to give up right now, and what got you to keep going?
Dude, if you've ever like started something, you know it happens like every day basically.
No,
it happens
a
all
lot.
the time. So
every time your head hits the pillow,
literally when you're alone in your thoughts, you really think about it.
Yeah.
But it's especially whenever you get all like the shit hits the fan. Like I remember whenever I was first starting to get a ton of traction on Amazon, you'd have those days or whatever would happen and your listing gets taken down. And then it's like, oh my gosh, what do I do here? You can't get on the phone with anybody. It's not that easy. There goes, you're losing now $3-4 grand a day in sales just because it's not fixed. I mean, just stuff like that. You're finally like, okay, dude, like is this really worth it? Should I just go back and get a sales job? Like, I can crush it in sales. Be good. This will be easier. I'll probably make more money. The first couple of years of PermaPlug, like I wasn't even making that much money. Took a giant cut. Yeah. It paid off in the end, but seeing it through, if I hadn't seen it through, I would have never known that. It'd been so much easier just to go back and get a job. But I don't even know what makes me push through. Maybe it's like some stubbornness or just some like unwavering like just delusional confidence. But you just got to keep going. I just always had faith that it'll work out. Obviously, I have those moments of doubts. But I call it my P brain. It's short for pussy brain. But it's like whenever your brain's trying to tell you, like, stop or whatever. I'm like, no, that's not really me talking. That's my P brain talking. Like, let me actually focus, get back to work. So
let's talk about two things that I think are important to you. They're important to me, and I know they're important to Jason too. Talk about the importance of your wife and her support for you.
Dude, she is like, if she hadn't believed in me so much, it would have been significantly harder. Like I've seen guys that I know that are in relationships where like their wives can like, all right, man, you should probably play it safe. We got we had 2 kids at the time, and I'm telling her we need to go live with her parents for a while. Like that. I mean, that even for me like was a gut shot. Like pride hit for me. I'm like, okay, I can't like provide for us for a while. So that was really hard. But she never once made me feel less than. There'd be months when bad things would happen. I wouldn't make hardly any money with PermaPlug. When I was out of stock, I mean, we made like $4 grand in sales that month, and she never cared. I mean, she just like always kept pushing me to keep going. And it's like I mentioned with Shark Tank too, she never once said like, if you don't make it, it's okay. She never said that. She was like, you're gonna make it. Like, just keep going.
So I mean, we're brother-in-laws. We married sisters. We, Allie and my wife Victoria talk daily, probably 100 times a day. Yeah. And what's cool is, and I don't know even how much I've relayed this to you, but the way Allie talks about you, the way she would always brag about PermaPlug, the way she would always, it was just so cool because like I could see it from afar. Yeah. Because it was never like, oh, Zach's doing this or Zach's doing that. She was like, PermaPlug's really crushing it. He had another viral video go today. He had this happen. Oh, I think we're gonna get on Shark Tank. It was. Zach's grinding for us. We're just so appreciative. It was literally like yesterday or the day before I heard them on the phone, and she was like, Zach's really just been putting long hours at the office for us. And it was so cool because that's like, as every man, every husband's dream, and have your wife talk about you like that. Yeah, it's a very cool thing. So shout out Allie. Shout out the support.
Yeah, thank you.
She's giving you, your family's giving you. Like, it's just really cool to see.
Yeah, and she's let me, like, it makes me tear up hearing that. Because, I mean, I hear it sometimes, but, like, I'm not good at accepting compliments. So sometimes for her, I'm like, just like I said earlier, like, I'm just a guy. Like, she tells me that I'm doing all this stuff. I'm like, no, I'm just, like, I'm not there yet. I've got these super high goals for myself. It's easy to compare yourself to where other people are at.
Yeah.
And I'm not there yet. I'm not where I want to be. But, yeah, no, that's awesome to hear. And she's my rock, dude. I mean, like, even last night, we went to a networking event. I didn't get to go home and put my kids to bed. I got home at like 11 o'clock, and then I wake up at 3:30 in the morning to go work out before I come here. I haven't even seen them. I haven't seen them like 2 days now. And I've been home. I slept next to her. I didn't even get to really even see her. But, like, she never makes me feel bad about that because she knows, like, my end goal is to provide for us so I can be there for them all the time. Like, I'm young. This is my time when I'm going to grind. Like, I'm putting my clients at ShipSquared and everything, like, before myself and my family a lot of times. But she knows, like, I'm doing that for us, and I hope that my kids know that I'm doing it for them in their future and long term. And any waking moment that I can, I'd rather sacrifice sleep and my health temporarily to spend more time with them and my family than to, sleep more and see them less and work more. So it's a hard thing trying to juggle all this stuff at once.
Sure,
but
for sure.
It's just another one of those things you got to see the light at the end of the tunnel. If I didn't have that support, it'd be so much harder. So I probably take that for granted sometimes. But if you don't have somebody in your corner that supports you, dude, it's like, I can't even imagine how hard it would be. I've honestly never had that problem.
Yeah.
So it's I can empathize with people that don't have that, but I am so fortunate that I've got someone on my team that really pushes me to keep going.
Yeah, same here. I mean, we're in an extremely stressful environment. I mean, I would not have been able to make it where we are at Grow without my wife Miranda just being there, being the rock, and like when you hit those brick walls and you're just like, God, and then just the constant. They just believe so much in you, and the fact that they speak confidence over you.
Yep,
it's incredible, man.
It's
such
same
a blessing.
Here.
Yep, and I see you at your like worst times too. It's
they
see me in the shower. She sees me in the shower, just like, oh my gosh, like what a day. Most of the time, I try not to even like worry her with that stuff. She's it's you have to like protect them to an extent. She's like, what's wrong? In my head, I'm like, I lost $15,000 yesterday. I'm like, nothing. We're good. It's just fine. We're good.
Yeah.
It'll all work out. That's what I always tell her. It all works out for me. It always does. You just got to keep going. So.
Okay. So the second thing that I want to bring up too, how does your faith play into this? Like, are you just talk about what do you, like how is God a part of your business and how you've grown it and stuck with it and talk about leaning on God and what that looks like for you.
I've been a big believer my entire life, and I thank my parents for that, for keeping me in church the whole time. But I've just always been a big believer, and I always think that everything that I have is because God gave it to me. I have working legs, body, eyes, mind, skills, all that because I was blessed with it. And if anything, I feel like I'm squandering my gifts if I don't take advantage of everything He's given me.
Yeah.
But I always, with Shark Tank, I tell God all the time, I'm not making a deal with you because I know you just like me to say, if you give me this, I'll do this. Yeah. But I was just always like, God, please, like if this is supposed to work out, let it happen. If it doesn't work out, then I understand. But like, tell me why, because I don't understand. Like, I'm like, please let it happen. But it's led me in everything. Like I'll tell my business partner now in ShipSquared, I texted him last night. I said, say some prayers tonight. Thank Jesus for that opportunity because we have a pretty big lead in the pipeline that's about to close with us and sign up. I thank him for everything, dude. I'd have nothing without him. And that's why at the end of Shark Tank too, I walked out and I knew I was going to do this when I went in. I've never seen anybody do it, but I knew, and I told God I was going to give Him the glory the second that I could, even if it meant that they didn't air it. Who knows? Maybe the guy that was producing the show isn't a believer and wouldn't have wanted me to say that on the show. But as I walked out, I repeated, thank you, Jesus, thank you, God, thank you, Jesus, thank you, God, the entire way I walked out because I knew they had to put it in there. They couldn't clip it out unless they muted me. But I said it the whole way out, even if that meant they weren't going to air me, maybe that made them mad or whatever. I was like, I don't care. I'm putting that in there because I want to make sure that people know that's who gets the credit, not me. Yeah. I'm just a vessel, and He's the one he's the one guiding me there the whole time. So,
dude, that's
glory to Him.
That's
powerful.
powerful,
Awesome.
Man.
Yeah,
I heard that on the show when you were walking out.
I've had multiple people say that. Did you hear about them? Like my mom, like my parents said that. They're like, did you see that at the end? Like that was really cool.
I'm glad they kept it in. I knew I wanted to give Him the glory when I walked out of there. I'm like, it's awesome. I mean, even that right there, like that probably reached millions of people. Like just like to get to say like, thank you, Jesus, thank you, God, right there, and everybody got to see that. I mean, like that's above all things, that's worth it. For me to be able to just like spread the gospel in that way. But
man.
Yeah,
dude, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Dude.
It's been an honor to have you jump in here with us.
Yeah.
I love your story. I think it's incredible, and it's only getting started. I hope that we fast forward a year, 2 years, and we have you back on here and hear where you're at that point. Hopefully, Jason's putting you in a 300,000 square foot warehouse in Vegas, another one in Dallas, and another one up in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, because you got so many clients. You're slinging stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
Man, that would be incredible. We love the partnership with you. We love working with you.
Yeah, man.
And we love your story. So thanks for coming on, dude.
Thank you, man. Yeah, shout out to Jason, too, for securing the deal on 30,000 square feet. It was like a 2-month negotiation back and forth, but you clutched it out. So shout out to Grow and shout out to Jason for that.
I appreciate it. Before we end, we got to, we talked a lot about PermaPlug.
Yeah.
I want you to use this time for, anybody that's listening, tell us about ShipSquared, what makes you different.
Yeah.
What you've been able to grow it so fast and get it so many loyal clients and referrals. Just here's a quick opportunity to plug that.
Well, I think that we're approaching with ShipSquared a little bit differently with all of our clients because, having the brand owner's perspective, we help them in ways that I think most other 3PLs don't. I really do look at them like I'm almost teaching them some stuff. We had our one client that sold, 60,000 units in December alone last year, and we saved him 30% on his costs because we helped him shrink his package down by 3 inches on each side. Just unnecessary wasted space. So I look at it more like that. The guys that we work with, we're not just trying to sign clients up to sign them up to build our book of business. I want to work with these people for a long time, and I'm always finding ways to help them optimize their savings. If I can shrink down his package cost, not only does that shrink his cost from China to US, that also shrinks his postage cost from US to his customers. Everything. It's his storage cost with us now goes down. So I think in that way, we're focused primarily on D2C right now, but we've got some clients now that do B2B and retail fulfillment, including PermaPlug. So we're always pivoting in that way. I think that we can adapt and overcome. My partner, Brent, has a warehouse and operations experience with that too, so he's really pro with that. And we've also hired a warehouse manager now with some substantial experience, but we're really trying to give our clients that partnership feel where they feel like they can even call me any time of the day. I'd rather keep it around 15 to 20 clients that have my number on speed dial every day than grow so big to where I can't actually support these people and they're just another number in our system. So that's kind of that's kind of where we're going with it, and that's the plan right now. So
I love that. That's awesome.
Yep.
Good for you, man. Well, thanks again for coming on.
Yeah. Jason,
appreciate you jumping in here too, and we'll catch you next time.
See you on the next one. Good job, boys.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. Our goal with this podcast is to bring you extremely entrepreneurial stories to inspire you, to help you guys learn, to help us learn. I've learned more today than I've learned, in a long time. So I think it's important for us to have these conversations, and we want to share them with you because we get to talk to founders like this every single day, and we want to share it with you. And I think it's really, really important information, valuable, and stay tuned for the next one.